Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussion.
Correct.
Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
We are all Richard Allen!
Stupid is being nice. You're an absolute moron. There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Huh? It's a house!
What the hell was going on with that thing? Well, how's it going, everybody? I don't know what the deal is with the... Can't tell what the dogs are doing. All right. See, check it out. I'll show you guys like, you know, an hour ago. So look at, that's the total views on that video that I put out there earlier. And look at right here. 69% of the 1700 were just browsing around and randomly found it. 11%, that means about 175 people or something, got notifications. And then only 6% suggested, you know what I mean? Like, it's just garbage. You know, like, there's no way to succeed with that. No chance. Don't know what's going on. But also, a lot of you out there that say that you have your notification bells turned on isn't true, okay? And when I say notification bell, I mean you hit the notification bell and then select all videos. You don't just hit the bell, because then they just sort of randomly decide. If you do all videos, that means every video that I put, at least you'll get notified somewhere for it. All right, and we're also getting, today's the 26th, so we're getting close to the end of the month. And we're going to try to reach the goals and stuff tonight too, because we've only got tonight, tomorrow, and then there's the final night of the month, which is our donation night. And we gave $500 out yesterday to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It was kind of like a challenge. If the freaks and everybody got 300 in here, I would donate $500, which you'd have to make 700 to break even on that. So that's not. So that was good. So now we're at 2,000 for the month so far, or the year so far, which, you know, for our past isn't really that great. Right, and then your phone settings, you have to check your phones to see if you're allowing notifications, because if you turn them off, you're not going to get notified. So there you go. And that number should be 230,500 now. That's on the screen. I don't know what that means. Stage left even. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Looking for a video on your channel. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The last two videos are just, nobody's even getting them at all. They're just not seeing them. It's weird. I see. Alright, I'm going to check my phone and iPad later. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, I don't have any faith. you guys. I don't have faith that you guys. And another thing I don't have faith in is that you'll share videos. Like when I put videos out, you can make up for the lack of that by sharing them in different places, but everybody relies on everybody else to do it instead of themselves. And it's really pretty easy. You just take the link and you post it somewhere, and maybe some other people get to see it. I mean, that'd be awesome. All right. So I guess is the alibi information that we were discussing in the video that I put out earlier. I thought that was, it's pretty interesting. I took the motion that they just filed, and it mentioned all these other ones, and I put them all in there so you could follow how the chain of how things were going in the how the back and forth went. And Kohberger originally, after multiple attempts to get him to say something, they said, well, he liked to drive around, he liked to drive around at night. And then they sort of left it at that. And then later, after they were pressed on it again, to be more specific, they said that, oh yeah, he liked to drive around at night. Specifically, he was south of Pullman, and then made his way over to Wawa Park to look at stars, because he's just he's like an erudite, you guys. I mean, he is absolutely just a brilliant person. I mean, he stargazes. He's probably an ornithologist. What else doesn't he do? He's basically MacGyver of humanity. He is amazing. One of the greatest human beings on the planet, if you ask me. But the thing about Wawa Park is it's actually impossible to do that. It's literally impossible for him to have made it to Wawa Park. I've checked it out. His phone pinging over here on this cell tower, and then him continuing to go down like this, and then somehow he makes it over to Wawa Park over here. It's impossible for him to have, to get back in town by, I think it was 5:30 is when his cell phone pings here, and it's just impossible. Driving exactly this route that I have here, I got right there at, I think it was right here at 5:25. So I drove this route right here. Now there's 16 minutes of missing time before his phone pings here, but the rest of it, absolutely, the timing worked perfectly to get up there. And you guys, we're currently at 0, everywhere across. We don't have any coffees. We are 0 on super chats. We are 0 on memberships. We are 0 on every single thing. And we, like I just said a minute ago, we're heading into the end of the month here. So if you guys could please help support the channel, that would be awesome. It really, the level of enthusiasm drops dramatically. All right. So let me. I do have this video that probably hardly anybody watched. Also, back in the day, I'm not sure exactly when I made this one, but this one actually shows that route. Okay, so here's. I'll just turn off the audio. We don't need to listen to the. We don't need to listen to that. So this is. I think I made this. Must have been a year and a half ago or so. Right. So here's the map that they had in the probable cause document right there. See that? Really what, Dean? When you say really, what do you mean? That I've only got 1,000 views on the last 2 videos? Is that what you're talking about? Or nobody knows what you're referring to, Dean. You got to type a full sentence. You look like one of those just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And if you're referring to me saying, yeah, we're at 0, I'm absolutely serious. It's hard to reach the goals when you're at 0. Okay. So this part right down here is the only part that wasn't exactly very similar. It was right here. But the guy was just drawing on a map, visualizing based on the cell tower pings where the car might have made it across. All right. So right here, let's just start it right there. I'll go back a little bit. And you'll see, I think it'll start at 420 right behind the house. And so again, that's the full map there, all the way from when you reach the highway down. I don't know what he was talking in. I doubt it, Michelle. If he was, there'd be more words said by the same person. We've been doing this for a long time. All right, so here it is, driving by 1112 King Road on the left. And this is me. I did this route, filmed the whole thing. And you can see on the map, just in general, I moved that little red sphere to different locations. Hey, thanks, Kaylee. Hey, we're not at 0 anymore. Awesome. And now we're going up on Walanta Drive here. And I'll just kind of skip forward a little bit when we're, for example, out on some of the highway stuff. But this is what it looked like when he was leaving. And so this is still Walenta Drive here. I think right now we're actually right over in this area. Hey, thanks, Cinnamon Sin Freak. The 10th super chat on a live stream. And then we're right over here. I mean, up here you can see on here, it basically comes like this and then goes down, if you can see my mouse, to here, and then cuts across, goes down, and that's really the only way out of there. There isn't another exit, so that is the way that he left. They know that he left on Walanta Drive, and because of that, and the fact that he didn't show up on some other cameras, they know that he went out this direction. Welcome to 323. Okay, yeah, so you can see it's about right in this area here. It's going to continue around. I can just kind of skip it forward 30 seconds. Now we're down here, and we're about ready to make it out to, I think it's, what is it, Palouse River Drive? Something like that. Yeah, right here. And then he's going to take a left. And this is probably what it looked like. Dark, some lights here, but, it's dark outside. And then I'll move it forward again, 30 seconds. And you can see the car driving, and eventually it's going to take a right to get out on to, let's see, forgot the number, Highway 95. I think this one's 195 over here, yeah. So this is Highway 95, and you're looking at it right here, going like this, and then taking a right. And that's not the one. So right here is taking that right now. So you see it? And then see the clock up here? That's what time it would be. From leaving at 4:20. See that? I actually have that clock ticking away exactly when I left the house behind it. And it's 4:25, and I'm already on Highway 95. You see? So now I'm going to click it forward, 30 seconds, keep going. It's just driving down the highway. There's no lights out here. And then after a while, I literally have to stop the driving and just let the clock tick away. But I speed it up at that point. But like it's 4:29, 4:30. I'm just moving it forward. Thank you, Truth Seeker. And you can see where it is. And now we're getting near Blaine at this point. 4:32. And then look, I had to skip it. Okay, so I'm going right here, 4:32. We'll just watch this. And so about 4:32 is when it should have been to Blaine. But there's about 16 minutes of missing time. where Kohberger likely ditched some of his items. We just don't know where in that 16 minutes he went, because he didn't turn his phone on again. And look how dark it is out here, and not a lot of cameras, etc. So then at 4:48, when his phone pinged near Blaine, is when I turned it on in the general area there. Okay, and then we'll just move it forward again. So just look at the clock there. So really the clock starts at 4:48 near Blaine. You know, we already showed it, but that's how we figured out, or at least I figured out, that there was 16 minutes of missing time. I was the first person on social media to even mention it. Now everybody's like, oh yeah, you guys, you see, I've noticed that they're, you know, that's how they do it. 4:49, and we'll just move it forward 30 seconds, 30 seconds. And then I switched to a daylight camera because I drove this route a few different times. I didn't do the in the darkness drive across this though, because it's crazy. I'll show you. So now it's 4:51, and pretty soon here I'm going to take a right. Now there's a couple times where I had to stop and turn around and go the other direction. I mean, not to go the other direction, but stop and turn around and then fix where I was, and then I actually stopped the clock and then just started it again from the correct location. And you'll probably see some of those. Now we're on the road going across. See this? This isn't really a road that is, I mean, isn't this the road exactly that a killer would want to take? There isn't one camera on this thing. Look at this. It's out in the middle of nowhere. So you just drive across, and it would be like 4:54-ish in this area here. And there was one time I think it slowed down a little bit for a second, and then just driving, making its way. I mean, it's just pretty out there for sure. I mean, look at that. It's pretty amazing. But hey guys, on this channel every single night I try to raise funds to help support the channel, and at the end of the month we give a lot, thousands of dollars away, and the only way to make that happen is if you guys are supporting the channel on a nightly basis, and because there is no ad revenue on these live streams. So when people go, really? That's because there's no ad revenue on the streams, and I do 3-hour shows, and I get ad revenue on the videos that I make, so that plus memberships and this augment. So I think I went right there. Let's see, no, so this isn't one of the times I had to fix my error. So I'm driving around, but it's you guys, your support is what allow us to do what we do, which is $230,500 since January of 2020 have been given to various true crime related charities, a DNA fund, and a scholarship fund. So if you're out there and you have the ability to, that'd be great. All right, so you can see how wild this is, just wandering around. You know, I bet there isn't going to be any cameras out here. So this is a way to get across without driving through any main towns, etc. So I'm just going to keep forwarding it here, 30 seconds at a time. Don't get all started at once, everybody. And thanks to Cheryl Bullock on PayPal. Yeah. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure why somebody sent me a screenshot of my own show. I don't get it. Oh, somebody's sending me a proof that they... I don't need proof that you hit the notification bell. Jesus. Man, I just spend all day if everybody's like, look, Ray, I see you hit it. Thanks, Michelle H. And thank you, Mama 457 Rose. And yeah, I mean, you guys are the freaks that support the channel are the reason we're able to do all these things over all these years. That's the thing. Hey, thanks, Monroe. All right, so I'm still, you can see on the map, I'm just still driving across. Well, thank you. Yep, that's we're still doing this, trying to do the same thing we've always been doing here. So look, it's 5 o'clock right now on the up here. So it's 5 a.m. when Kohberger's driving. Now I meant to, I think it's that arrow that I'm pointing, I meant to take that turn there. So I stopped it, came back, and then I kept the clock going once I got back to the right spot. So thank you, Monroe. And thank you, Joseph Brennan, and on the also on my video from earlier too. Thank you. Alright, and I'm just going to keep moving it forward. So whenever I use those arrows, it's when I screwed up and went past it. Then I literally stop the clock and just come back, drive it, and then come back in at the exact time. It's pretty cool out there though, right? This would be a really neat place to fly that, do that same type of drone. Who are you talking to, Michelle? Hey, thanks, 4Paws007. And so right here, I was supposed to go straight, but I turned. Now I came back to that exact spot. There you go. And the clock keeps on going. Oh yeah, this is probably what it looked like that night when he was stargazing, with all the clouds, etc. Oh yeah. Do you see? Is there a troll in here, Michelle Perkins? I don't know what you're talking about, Michelle Perkins. Just let it be the way it is, okay? People are, you know, I have the people, when they send in support for the channel, they pop up on the screen. My God. Just, you've never heard more complainers in my life. Hey, thanks, Moofies. Appreciate it. Yeah. So here we go. Look at the wide open fields there, but you can see it's not it's a shortcut across, right? I mean, it's 5:04 in the morning currently. I'm going to move it forward 30 seconds. 30 seconds more. Okay, well, you don't need to complain, you know, Michelle Perkins. You can go complain somewhere else. Not interested. I think everybody's fine. Thank you, Amy. Wish I could stop the show for you there, Michelle, and help you out only, but got other people here.
You're the most reliable true crime analyst on YouTube. Many of us depend on you for accurate, detailed information. Thank you for your work.
Yeah, that's cool, Amy, but what's weird is hardly anybody watches it. You know what I mean? It's weird. Strange stuff. You know? Like, you would think people, just know this, I do shows every single day, so it's, you know, and I put videos out a lot of days, so just be on the lookout for them instead of just kind of, hey, I didn't get a notification. Well, I mean, I'm on every single evening, so if you check it out, I mean, really rarely is it after 6:30. I've had a couple of those lately, but not too many. No, it's not one way, it's very narrow, but nobody's out here. I mean, notice that even right now in the afternoon, there isn't a soul. And how many people do you think are driving on this at 5 in the morning? I mean, it's probably is nothing. All right, so he's about to come out into an area where there's like a small town at this point. You can always tell the people that get the free memberships. You know, usually people, when they buy a membership, they like the way the show is and they're okay with it. But the ones that get the free ones, they always come in and start bitching and moaning. Probably didn't even realize they had got one. All right, so here's where the turn to the right is. I think I slowed down here to just figure out what the hell was going on. But so it's 5:08 and 21 seconds. See that? And see, now we're down at that little point on the map here, and then taking a right. Now we're on Highway 195. See how this? When you go down the Highway 195 there? Okay, well, quit complaining, Michelle. It's not fun. The show wasn't about you. I'm just letting you know. The show was about I'm trying to show people the route back and the timing. So see the 50857 right here? So look where we're at on the map right here. So let's go to the bigger map here, and that's going to be right over in this area. It's 508. So how does he make it all the way over to Wawaway Park over here, and then somehow make his way all the way back over to Pullman, Washington by 5:30? You know how he does it? He doesn't. It's impossible. You know what I mean? It's absolutely impossible to do it. Okay? And if he'd gone this way, he wouldn't be there for even longer. So the shortcut is, in fact, exactly what it is. It's a shortcut going across here. And even using that, you cannot drive over to Wawaway Park and then back up here and be in town at 5:30. All right, does everybody follow along with that? I've actually mapped it out and timed it. So here it is on 195. Going up north. I'm just doing 30 seconds at a time. 511. And this is just basically freeway, so I'm speeding it up for all of you guys because I actually have the real time. Like you could sit here and watch an hour video. $5.15, we're just moving it forward here. And you can see it's making its way up here. So imagine that being 5:11 or something. At this point, he wouldn't be at Wawaway Park yet. I mean, just look at the distance there. He's right there. He has to go all the way over there to get to Wawaway Park. It would be like 1, 2, or 3 times. So he wouldn't have made it to Wawaway by like 5:25. And then his phone somehow pings right here in Pullman at 5:30. And then there's a vehicle at 5:25 driving by right here. So here we go. Yeah, I guess if you hadn't typed in FF, for F's sakes, stop it, you probably wouldn't get the same reaction. It's just, why not say, hey Gray, I can't hear over the super chats. Anything you can do over that? And then I'd probably do something. But when anybody talks like that, I just don't have any time. And they're the same ones that'll go somewhere else and go, Gray was so mean. You should have seen it. All I said was I couldn't hear. They leave out the part where they said, for F's sakes, stop it. They left out that part. Okay. Yeah. You always see it. Everywhere I go, the trolls always make up a different story of how it really was. Never ends. All right, so it's driving up here, and it does a crazy little move. This is where it's already turned right. You see that off the highway? So let's do this part again. So as it's driving up here, I'm just going to move it forward. Right? I think it just turned, so we'll go back 30 seconds and then another one. So right there, boom, it turned off of 195 and starts heading in this direction. Hey, thanks, Truth Seeker. Now look at this, is another back way, and they believe he went this way. And then that's through Bixby there. Hey, we got a copy in there from 4Paws 007. Yeah, he was all over the place. He drove to Idaho, or from Washington to Idaho, and then back to Washington again to go look at stars. Maybe we need to play the Steve Miller song. I think it's called Take the Money and Run or something. All right, here it goes. In a minute here, it's going to take a left at a stop sign. But look at how desolate this is. This is the route that law enforcement visualized based off the cell tower, and it makes sense. And the reason, see, like when you see this route right here, you might go, well, how do they know he did that route? Well, you know how they know he did the route? Because eventually in a minute. So this is that turn right here, driving up 195, taking a right, and now you see us, we're driving down like this, and then eventually it takes a left on, let's see, what's the name of that one? Johnson Road here, and then drives up like this, and then it's seen on camera right here on Johnson Road. So they know the car is coming up from this direction. And so that means it didn't go like this, up 195 into town. It went like this, and that's why it made it onto Johnson Road. Hopefully that made sense as well. So let's just continue this. I'll skip it forward 30 seconds, 30 seconds, and then I think at the end of this, right down here, it's going to take a left. There's a stop sign coming up. Right, I think it's just right around here. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen this. Let me go 30 seconds. I think I passed it. All right. I'm going to go back. Oh, there it is. There's a stop sign. So stop sign, then it takes a left. Now it's heading up north, and I think this is Johnson Road here. That's what this is. For F's sakes. All right, here we go. We're going up right now, and you'll see here in a minute where it makes it, look what time it is, 5:23 and 15 seconds. If you remember, what time did the vehicle pull into this, I think it was 5:25, it's spotted on camera right here on Bishop Avenue. So this is Johnson Road, and then right here on Johnson Road at 1300 Johnson Road, look what time it is, 5:25. It's crazy. So watch this. So it's 5:23 and 43 seconds. 5:24 and 16 seconds. Now it's 5:24 and 48 seconds. And let's see what time it is, just driving normal rate, speed and everything like that. Hey, thanks, Michelle Perkins. I didn't time you out, Michelle Perkins. That's why we can read it. Hey, thanks, Janine Garcia. I never timed out anybody. I'm just doing my show. Maybe somebody else did, but 5:25 and 12 seconds. I got a free membership and I love your show. I think you do an amazing job. Well, hey, thanks, Janine. Yeah, I hope that some people that got free memberships will stick around for the $1.99, or you can do the $4.99 one, helps the channel out more. But if you do the $1.99 one, it's inexpensive, and what, $24 a year for having the cool emojis and sometimes some videos, etc. Or I guess more like sometimes I do live streams over there. But look what time it is, 5:25 and 46 seconds. And let me just go back and do that again. I'll pause it when it pulls in. But look at that, it's exactly the time, you guys. Isn't that insane? So right there, I don't know if you can see that little black dot right there, but that's a camera on the building. See that right there? It's small on the screen, obviously, but that's one, and there's another one right there. See that? That's another camera. So there's two cameras on this building, and apparently the white Elantra drove by right there at 5:25, and look what time it is on the screen right there. Don't you find that absolutely amazing? That once the phone pings at 4:48 near Blaine, and you time it, it's exactly 5:25 getting here. All right, now we're going to exit that facility there, and at the end of this, I just drive back to Moscow, Idaho. So, but this is the way it drove right here too. They have it. In fact, they could see on a camera that it went up this direction. Now he went up through the city over here, through those buildings, and so he'd probably be in the left-hand lane at this point. And then I'm going to be turning right where he would take a left. All right, so he is in this video let's see, right there. I'm taking a right, and he would have taken a left and gone up like that. So what's interesting is when, you know, they're arguing in court recently about, hey, he went south. He went south first. Okay. I mean, for me, it matches everything that I've always thought. I mean, it's like he leaves and he went this direction, right? And I think he went on Sand Road here in the early morning hours, and then he drove around like this, and then he came up, and then he's right here on Palouse River Drive, and then he eventually makes his way up here onto Indian Hills Drive. That's how I think he got there in the morning, you know, before he drove home. So what did you guys think of that? Had any of you seen that before? Put a 1 if you had not seen that drive back before. It'll just give me some ideas at how few people... if you go back through all of my videos, I think you'll be shocked at how much better... I mean, I'm not trying to be, but they're just so much better than everybody else's videos on the case, where I literally show you exactly what's going on with factual information, not fake... sort of, ooh, it's Brent Kopacka. Let's spend a month talking about Brent Kopacka. It's ridiculous, all right? So this is it, right? Now, I am going to have to go and redo the looping because I think it's different. It's not quite as like, okay, just keeps going around like that. We already knew it wasn't quite like that on the second one. But what it turns out to be now, let me go through this. What does 2015 look like? That's pretty cool. 2020, this is 4 months before the murders, this satellite image here. All right, so what happened, let me just show you guys, and so from a top view, just so you remember this. Here we go. Here is Indian Hills Drive. I think that at 3:26 a.m., they have a white Elantra driving by right here, and I think, my opinion, this is 700, and I think that camera right there filmed him. All right? That's what I think. Then the white Elantra, it takes exactly the amount of time. So when you're watching this, just realize I've actually driven it, and I did it live, and it takes exactly the amount of time that other white Elantras are seen. So here's a white Elantra driving like this. Then at 3:28, which is exactly the amount of time it takes, especially that time of night, there's no waiting right here. You go through this, and 3:28, right here is the A&W, and apparently that camera filmed it without a front license plate. Then it continued this direction, and now we know because of Ann Taylor's genius that at 3:29 a.m., the white Elantra that Bryan Kohberger owns drove by right here, and this camera picked it up. Now, Ann Taylor wants you to believe after 3:29 that so the car's going this direction right here, right? And she doesn't want you to believe that the white Elantra at 3:29 and 49 seconds driving by right here is the same vehicle. Now, maybe you can't tell it's a white Elantra in that video, but you can see it's a white sedan driving by at 3:29:49, and then at 3:31, the vehicle, after driving by right here at 3:29:49 seconds, comes in, and at 3:31 comes back around like this, and then it parks here for about 3 minutes, and then at 3:34 it leaves and it goes back out this direction. And then the timing works if it goes around like this, and then around, and then back around, because you can't hear it on the audio. And then it pulls back in, and now it's 3:38-ish, something like that, 3:39, coming around, maybe 3:37. I don't remember the exact time in my head, but came around right here again. And then this time I think it waited another 2.5 minutes. And then it drove out like that, and then at 3:42-ish, I think you can hear it out here. And then the car takes off for a while. Apparently, it's very possible it made its way over here because at 3:45, there's a white Elantra driving by right here by this gas station heading this direction again. Hey, thank you, Eves Loves God.
Great work.
And everything I'm saying is real information. It's not fake stuff, you know, trying to make you excited about something. And so 3:47, and then at about 3:55 or so, you can hear the vehicle driving by right here again. And then at like 3:57, it shows up back here, and then the vehicle pulls around, and I think it does leave though. I mean, I had a theory that maybe it sat here and was still sitting here when the whole time the DoorDash driver was there. But we actually hear it. It sounds like the car leaves again. So like right around 4:02 or so, it drives away, which is interesting because the DoorDash guy is around in the area, and he goes around, comes back around, and then enters back into the area. That might have been like 4:01, but then at 4:06, it comes back here, and then it turns around back here, likely to check out to see what was going on regarding the DoorDash driver and the lights, etc. And then it drives back over here, tries to turn around or stop right there, or park something. They probably know it based on the lights. Then it drives over here, does a 3-point turn, and then comes back this direction, drives around back here, and about 4:07 and 30 seconds or so, it's right back here. And then 4:08-ish, right around there, the car parks. The white Elantra parks back here. And the thing is, it's 4:08, and then at 4:20, the vehicle is speeding away at a high rate of speed. So what happened to the driver of the vehicle of the white Elantra for those 12 minutes? Was he sitting in his car? Or is it more likely that the driver of the white Elantra missing its front license plate, and when I say more likely, I mean extremely more likely, that inside the house, inside of the 12 minutes that that car was parked, all 4 of the victims were killed. And on the bed of Madison Mogen is a knife sheath that had Bryan Kohberger's DNA on it. Therefore, circumstantially, to a point of not reasonable to believe otherwise, the white Elantra missing its front license plate that's driving around, especially given the fact that Ann Taylor admits that at 3:29, her client's vehicle was driving over there a quarter mile from the house. So now you have to realize that the white Elantra is his vehicle, and it's irresponsible to believe that it's not his white Elantra. If you believe that the DNA on the knife sheath is his, then you have to come up with some crazy conspiracy theories, etc. And then after he killed them, he exits the house, does his, mitigation of blood spatter, and then gets back in his vehicle, and he takes off at a high rate of speed at 4:20, and I just showed you the entire route back home. All right, so what do you think of that? Come on, everybody. Isn't that super chat worthy? You have to admit. Let's see. I mean, if anything was, that definitely was, right? Because we're currently only at a quarter of the nightly goal again, so I'm not sure how we're going to get there. Thanks. Well, my. Just happened to be there, same night, same guy, that's what I'm saying. And this is the same information that has been out there. See, people don't realize, so probable cause, it's just probable cause, But sometimes the information in there is so damning that it's just like the Delphi case. Like Richard Allen is bridge guy. He has no escape from it. And it's just like in this case, Richard Allen admits to driving around late at night. That means he was in possession of his own vehicle. It wasn't somebody else driving his vehicle around. His phone was turned off. That's why it doesn't show up on cell towers in this area here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Might not have heard, or maybe you have that. I first heard all of it was like, used to get angry and all about. You can say what you want, just tell my name right. All the members get the was lying in the house. That's what the little ones all about. Just me out there and there, all your friends, and if you don't wait till you see me again, just wait. I can hear from the horse's mouth right there, just straight it out. Hey, thanks, Mrs. Ryan. Yee-hoo! Gray. What was the thing again? It was, oh man. For F's sake, stop it. Yeah. Anyway, hey, thanks so much, Mrs. Ryan. See, you agreed. Wasn't that super chat worthy? All right. Yeah, that's right. See, there you go. That was it. That was it right there, Michelle Perkins. You got it. You nailed it. All right. God, my God, what a buzzkill, Michelle Perkins. Right. Right. So his attorney admits that he's driving around. So where's the out for the Kohbergers out there? You know, we call him, we were thinking of calling him Bryan Kohberger. You know, like, I know, some weird toe disease. I'm not really sure what it is, but, or slow burgers or something. But where's the out for Bryan Kohberger? Anybody? Hey, thanks, Thomas Sylvester. Man. There's no out for him. You guys get that, right? I mean, he's, yeah. He even admits. So it's not like it was before. Like, we're not really sure. Kohberger admits to driving around that night. He's in possession of his own vehicle and his own phone. His phone is just turned off. And they admit that he had his phone because they're using his phone pinging information as it's driving around by Wawawe Park. So there's a lot of strategic errors that the defense is making by giving up certain things. So you're admitting that he had his phone and the vehicle, right? And then you had to admit that at 5:29, his White Elantra was driving by at 3:29, a quarter of a mile from the house, and the direction it was going matches perfectly with another camera at 3:29 and 48 seconds, and then another camera at 3:31, etc. It all matches up, and Kohberger is there. So, I mean, how does the Wawawe Park story work now? Okay, so at 3:29 he took off, and the other White Elantra driving around was a different one. And he headed south, and then eventually he made his way to Wawawe Park. Okay. And then they try to use, and the weird part is they can't use cell data at all, which was in that document that we went over today, to prove his alibi because his phone was turned off. So they can't use that. So why are they even mentioning cell data? Well, you can see, we see his phone pinging at down in these areas between this time and that. Well, listen, it doesn't matter, right? Because his phone was off until 4:48. You know, it was off from apparently now 2:54 until 4:48. That's when his phone was turned off from, in that range. Almost a 2-hour period. All right? So they can't use cell data to prove where he was during that 2-hour period, let alone the time between 3:26 and 4:20 when it was speeding away. And even more specifically, you can't prove where he was between 4:08 and 4:20 because his phone was turned off. And that's why he turned it off. And the fact that there's a White Elantra driving around, and he admits it, and you know, he's got it's missing a front license plate. And you know, one of the things that really bothers me is all the people out there that are so worked up about the date change when they said, yeah, we're looking for a 2011 to 2013 White Elantra. And then eventually he goes, wait, you know what? It could actually be 2016. And it wouldn't even bother me at all. Would it bother you at all if after they had Kohberger as a suspect and he looked more into it and he goes, you know what? Shit, that could be a 2014 to 2016 also. Why is that a big deal to anybody? It's still a White Elantra missing its front license plate. It's just such a weird thing that they keep making a deal out of it, and it's almost like there's a lack of kind of a logical thinking process going on. It's just repeated over and over again. It's weird stuff, really. All right. Okay, well now I'm gonna move on to these other topics now. So that was let's see. Yeah, so now we're gonna move on to the alternative suspect situation. This one also came out, I think, on the 21st. All right, you guys, but if you're out there and you can support the channel, that'd be great. I think we made it to we're about 40% now. All right, here we go. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and respectively moves the court in limine, not like without a jury, for an order prohibiting the defendant from offering alternative perpetrators, just like the Delphi case. They had the 3-day hearing for third-party suspects. Offering alternative perpetrator evidence or arguing without first satisfying the court that any such evidence is relevant. See, that's that hearing. The 3-day hearing is exactly what that was, and in the Delphi case, that was ruled as not, they didn't allow it in because there was no nexus between any of the people that Brad, Rosie, and Baldwin, started to try to, the Odinist people, etc., etc., etc. Nothing was working for them, and then after the trial was over, they go, oh, forget those Odinists. How about Ron Logan? Oh, not Logan? Then how about Logan and Klein when they were buddies? Come on. Let's see. Court in limine and by the way, I tell you what, if Richard Allen comes forward in that case and admits to, yeah, we know Songbird, that's what I was saying. So if Richard Allen comes forward and says that, you know what, Keegan Klein, I did get the information from him and Ron Logan was there, I'd believe it. I mean, I wouldn't, it's not something I would go, oh my God, it wouldn't even be shocking really. Ron Logan would be a little bit weird because I think he really just didn't want to get his 4 years in prison for breaking his parole. But, the one thing we know for sure is Richard Allen was there. So it wouldn't, if he wants to come forward and say there's other people, great. It also admits that he was there, but now you're saying there's other people. Anyways, in support of this motion, the state refers the court and counsel to State versus Meister, where the Idaho Supreme Court addressed the standard for assessing the admissibility of alternate perpetrator evidence. In Meister, the Idaho Supreme Court held the Idaho Rules of Evidence implicitly overruled State versus Larson, Idaho 42. I don't know what that means. The proper analysis is under IRE 401, 402, 403. The Idaho Supreme Court noted the trial court must first consider and determine whether the proffered evidence is relevant under IRE 401. The second step is to determine whether the probative value of the proffered evidence is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice. Right. See, I think you can go the unfair prejudice in the other direction. Confusion of the issue or misleading the jury or by considerations of undue delay. And by the way, we have no gifted memberships tonight, you guys. So if you're out there, let's get the gifted memberships going, get some of these people in here. There's a lot of people that aren't channel members, or maybe consider becoming channel members, you guys. Let's see. Or let me start this part over. The second step is to determine whether the probative value of the proffered evidence is substantially overweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of the issue or misleading the jury, or by considerations of undue delay, waste of time, or needless presentation of cumulative evidence. The court was concerned that the defendant will attempt to admit evidence where the sole purpose is to infer that an individual other than the accused committed the crime. If the defendant proffers evidence which merely tends to mislead the jury. See, that's exactly what Brad, Rosie, and Baldwin were trying to do. Just trick the jury into them thinking something else. Right? The jury that other person committed the... so if the defendant proffers evidence which merely tends to mislead the jury that another person committed the crime, or the evidence is not relevant because it does not tend to make the defendant involvement more probable or less probable than it is within the trial court's discretion to find evidence admissible. Mere inference that another person could have committed the crime will most likely not be relevant, and if relevant, will still be subject to the limitation provisions. That says, in this case, during the course of the investigation, literally thousands of tips regarding possible perpetrators were received by law enforcement. With the exception of information regarding the defendant, none of the tips were substantiated. The state submits that any attempt by the defendant to offer or argue an alternative perpetrator theory without evidence, specifically connecting persons other than the defendant to the homicides, would do nothing more than mislead and confuse the jury, and would also result in undue delay, waste of time, would be a needless presentation of cumulative evidence, and unfairly prejudice the state. Under the Idaho Supreme Court ruling of Meister, this should be prohibited. The state respectfully submits that the defendant should be precluded from offering or arguing alternative perpetrator evidence without first meeting the relevance and admissibility threshold. I mean, that was so much easier to understand than some of the Delphi stuff. That's exactly the same thing. You know, exactly the same. Alright, so this is the... Did that open up? Let's see. It might have. Alright guys, what's going on tonight? We're dead as a doornail again. Gotta make the goals. Come now, the state of Idaho, by and through the Latah County Prosecutor and Attorney, respectfully moves the court. Yeah, so this is another one. Hey, look at that. Cheryl Moran just did 10 memberships. Holy crap. Wait. Hey, does GMU gonna get one? Let's see. We got Misbehavin', Sincere, Sheila, Salty C, Carrie H, Mel A, Mom, and Amy 2, Will Do, and GSU PM struck out again. What the hell's going on in there? That's crazy. Well, thank you. Oh, let's see. And then it was Lisa Smith got one. And Sid. That's weird, too, because it paused for a while. Like it was looking for one. You know what you should try to do is can you undo it where you're not available and then add it and then like exit and come back in and then add it again? Maybe it just didn't set or something. Try that. Like, can you make it so that you're not available for gifting in here and then sign out or something and then sign back in and then do it again? It's $50, Cindy. It's I mean, it's nice regardless, but it is. It's like a cat eye donation. It's the same thing. They're not $7 a piece, though. Hey, thanks, Timothy Cecil.
Is it that easy to donate? Smiley face.
It is easy. I'm just putting her name in there. There we go. There we go. It's not correct, Cindy. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That'd be $6.99. I don't have any that are at that level. Okay, so this is some psychiatric thing. Hey, we got Valerie Fan was gifted one. Awesome. Very cool. Alright. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and respectfully moves the court for an order in limine prohibiting defendant from offering testimony regarding neuropsychological evaluation. So I think that matches sort of this information that hasn't been put out yet, but it's in the news. Evaluation and psychiatric evaluation of the defendant as summarized in the defendant's January 23rd, 2025 supplemental response to requests for discovery regarding expert witnesses. Specifically, the state objects to the proposed testimony of expert witnesses identified in Defendant Exhibit D7 and D3 appended to defendant's supplemental response to requests for discovery regarding expert witnesses. In support of this motion, the state specifically refers the court to Idaho Code 18207, state's motion in limine regarding neuropsychological and psychiatric evidence. So that's sort of interesting, because as soon as you bring that in, doesn't it sort of imply guilt almost? Because why are you? Who cares what your psychological makeup is if you're innocent? You know. The state, which provides that mental condition shall not be a defense to any charge of criminal conduct. Expert evidence on the issues of any state of mind, which is an element of the offense. In each of the witness summaries, the defendant specifically states that testimony is not intended to be mental element defense pursuant to Idaho, but rather this testimony is about the state of mind as well as a factual defense testimony to anticipated testimony elicited by the state. As such, the proposed testimony falls outside the mental condition evidence allowed under Idaho Code 18207. Well, now let's go look at that one here. January 23rd, 2025. Hold on a second. This guy's got so many files, it's crazy. Is that the one? That's the only thing from the 23rd. Doesn't sound the same. Supplemental response to request for discovery regarding expert witnesses. Yeah, that's not there. Let me just type in the word expert witnesses. That's not it. There's only one time it shows up. So it might not be in there. I don't know. And then we've got this this article that came out today. Defense for Idaho quadruple murder suspect Bryan Kohberger may cite autism to try to strike the death penalty option. Well, here's what I would say. If you're going to use autism, you need to also confess and cut a deal like like admit that you did it. Because what's the point of that? Okay? It's not as irrelevant. It's stupid. Like you're going to bring it up and say, oh, he's autistic, so therefore, he did something. I don't really understand the argument. As soon as you use that, that's admitting that you did something, in my mind. How do you guys feel about that? Well, he's autistic, so, he shouldn't get the death penalty. Okay, well, you're admitting you did it now, so you don't want the death penalty. So why don't you guys try to, do a plea agreement? Thanks, Moofies. All right. Mama 457 Rose. Reading Wave. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird how we have these nights where it's just so... And by the way, that's not a real number right there. There's no way there's 827 people here. So it just all of a sudden did that crazy little stupid thing that happens where... and I can tell by the total number of views, so that's not even accurate. There's only 1,391 views so far, and there can't be 824 watching. So in a minute here, it's going to go down again and then back up again. It's weird, weird stuff. So attorneys for the man accused of stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death have noted a autism spectrum disorder in asking the court to ensure the 30-year-old wouldn't get the death penalty. Now, I would say if you plead, we'll take the death penalty off the table. I mean, what a stupid thing. You're going to want to go with that and take death off. Now he has nothing to lose. Why wouldn't he go for it? The death penalty in this case is a very good bargaining chip up until trial. Wouldn't you agree? Bryan Kohberger is accused of killing Madision, Mogen, Kaylee, Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin in an off-campus home in November 2022. Kohberger trial is expected to begin in August. Not guilty pleas have been entered on his behalf. The slaying shrouded a college town in grief and fear, and authorities embarked on a cross-country search that culminated with the arrest of Kohberger, a criminology graduate student in Pennsylvania, for more than a month after the killings. His defense recently filed a motion to strike death penalty regarding autism spectrum disorder. So we don't want you to go for the death penalty because he's got autism. Well, isn't that admitting you did it? Why do you even care? What does it matter? If he didn't do it, it doesn't matter that he has autism disorder. And what does he have? Asperger's? I mean, as of early Wednesday morning, the full... And by the way, if he was a sociopath, you wouldn't give him a deal. Even though that's a disorder as well, isn't it? As of early Wednesday morning, the full documents were not publicly available online. And so they're even saying that today those documents weren't online, and it was not immediately clear. That sounds like a document they might not publicize because of it's a psychological, it's an issue, like it's that doctor-patient privilege thing that you... And it was not immediately clear whether Kohberger has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder or if the defense was seeking a diagnosis. The motions mark the latest attempt by Kohberger's attorney to try to remove the possibility of the death penalty. The experts also follow their failed attempt to convince a judge to suppress evidence related to investigative genetic genealogy, a relatively new technology, well, not really. It's been around for 8 years now, in which authorities upload an unknown suspect's DNA profile to a database. I mean, what a dumbed-down explanation that is. Jesus. To a database to learn about potential relatives. Jesus. The prosecution, meanwhile, recently asked the judge to bar the use of an alibi defense, and they claimed that there was another perpetrator without evidence being shared first. So that they're saying that we just went over all of those. Prosecutors also asked for some sealed expert testimony on Kohberger's mental health to not be allowed. All right, guys, if you're out there, we are currently, what are we at? 55? We're about 75 short of the goal. So if you guys are out there and you have the ability to support this channel, which is worthy of being supported, since this channel has given away $230,500 since January of 2020, which is $230,000 more than about all of the true crime channels that you watch combined have given. All right? That's not true, Gray. This one time we had... Well, how much have they given out of their own income? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Yeah, that's what the difference is. Let's see. The prosecution, meanwhile, recently asked the judge to bar the use of alibi defense and the claim there was another perpetrator without evidence being shared first. Prosecutors also asked for some sealed expert testimony on Kohberger's mental health to not be allowed. Now, what's this right here? Autism spectrum disorder is a neurological and developmental disorder that can affect how people interact with others, right? Is this related to the story, though? Kohberger's lawyers filed a spate of motions last year listing a variety of reasons they believe the state's intent to seek the death penalty is unconstitutional. One motion focuses on what Kohberger's defense team calls an ideological shift and evolving standards in the way the Americans view the death penalty. The lack of an active death penalty in the majority of states within the United States indicates that there has been an ideological shift and that the punishment now violates our contemporary standards of decency. No. Here's what I think about the death penalty. See, I think the death penalty is something that we need to keep, but only it should be rare. And I've said this 1,000 times, but like the death penalty, the fact that we have had people exonerated off of death row means, and because of DNA, what it means is that necessarily that people have been executed that were innocent before DNA was out there. And for me, that's just not acceptable in any way, shape, or form, and nor is it something as a society. If there's ever one person executed and they didn't do it, it's just absolutely, that's when you start questioning the whole damn thing. So what I would say is death penalty should be rare, and there has to be a certain factual set that has to be matched. And I mean like a series of things, and without those, they get life without parole. Okay, but if you have the specific things that absolutely are, there is zero doubt that that person, isn't, there's zero doubt that he is the killer, that's when the death penalty is used. Okay, but when there's, some eyewitness and it kind of looks like that guy, and, it's all just this and that, and it just, I don't know, there's a certain point where the death penalty should be off the table more often. Doesn't it bug you that I bet you there's been dozens of people that have been executed that didn't do it. More than that, I bet you hundreds. Because hundreds have been taken off of death row and exonerated, right? So all those people would have died if the DNA evidence wasn't there, and we know before people were executed really quick. So man, that's not good. So what's going on tonight, you guys? Do I need to dance the jig again, or it's just one of those nights, huh? It's been a tough one. Yeah, see, look, we're getting that same thing that goes like this. Bart Simpson's haircut, that little wave thing for the views. That's what it's not. There isn't 890 people watching. All right. Moofy threw me in prison. I must have been mean at some point during this show. We'll see what happens. Do you think I'll get out of here, Moofies? I don't know. Let's see. I'm not even sure where the jail is anymore. There it is. All right, I'm in prison now. Will I get out? That's the question. All right, we'll see. You're the one that threw me in there with the jail emoji. Will I get bailed out? It's hard to say. That's right. You're so mean. All right. We'll give it about 5 minutes and call it a day if we don't get bailed out. It's that kind of night. Let's see. All children should be protected. Yeah, this is my prison cell here, Stoic. You ever been here before? If he confesses, he goes to prison. Yeah, if he confesses, there might be a deal where they take death off the table, but he gets life without parole, and he can never appeal ever. So there you go. That's the only deal that you would set up, is he can never appeal. You take death off the table, and he gets life without parole. That's it. And then all the women out there that love Bryan Kohberger can set up dates, maybe have conjugal visits. I mean, we'll see how that goes. But hey, look at that, Moofies and Cheryl Moran. Nobody else wanted to bail me out. The same two that have been supporting the channel all night. Thank you so much. Man, everybody else likes me just sitting here twiddling my thumbs for hours. And Cheryl Moran. Thank you. Well, that's enough to get me out the door for sure. I think I'm just putting the names in here for the spin later. That's out the door. Who's getting me an Uber? Hey, look at it. Now we got my what's the thing that I've got on the screen now? Oh yeah, if I take that off, it's me again. Sirius Black. Now we need an Uber to get me to the hotel room. That should work. Huh? Like the many wrong. What does that mean? I hope you weren't wrongfully convicted and sentenced to death like many wrongfully. Who are you talking to? I'm Omi. I just explained the whole damn thing to you a minute ago. Were you not listening, or? Oh, they found the Carlsbad woman deceased. What happened to her? That was from yesterday, right? What did they say happened? Let's see. Was that yesterday? No, I think it was the day before, 24th. Was it, what was her name? Was it Kaylee? The 23rd? Yeah, man, I can't find it. I guess we'll take a look at it once I get out of prison, though. I still have no Uber money to get to the hotel. I know, isn't that stupid? They're going to try to use it. Probably they're going to say he has Asperger's, you know, like Adam Lanza and the other. Can probably throw that out there. Look at that, 8 months by Mrs. Ryan. They found the Carlsbad. Okay, let me just see if I can. I forgot her name. I don't know what you're talking about, Trey. No idea. Woman, Carlsbad. I think I spelled it wrong. Oh, she was found in the apartment complex. Well, what does that mean? A Carlsbad woman was found dead Wednesday, February 26, outside her apartment at the Village Carlsbad Apartments. Jaden Kennedy, 31, was reported missing. Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley. There's the Uber. Okay, I'll just take the Uber, get a quick little ride somewhere, and I'll just sleep outside the hotel, all right? There we go. So this is the one we were talking about the other day. So Jaden Kennedy, 31, was reported missing on Monday, February 24th, and was last seen on surveillance footage at about 8:05 a.m., February 20th, leaving the Sleep Inn and Suites Hotel at 3825 National Parks Highway. And that hotel is right next to it. Here, I'm just going to take a look at this. Yeah, so it's right here, look. For those of you just randomly here right now. So So this is the hotel right there that she was seen coming out of, and this is that apartment complex right next to it. Kennedy's death was being investigated by the Carlsbad Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division. Her remains were being investigated by the New Mexico Office of the Medical... What the heck? Hey, thank you, GSUPN! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, I got a nice hotel now. There we go. F the defense. I know, they're idiots. They're just like they are in the Delphi case, GSU. Just absolutely, completely... Oh, I'm always sarcastic, Trey, every single night. Hey, thanks, Moofies. Yeah. I mean, they always say that I'm snarky or whatever. That's just kind of my humor, personality, whatever you want to call it. Thanks, Moofies. All right, so... all right, cool. I can donate... I'm going to donate 5 memberships. Let's just all hope GSU PM gets one. All right, here we go. So here we go. I'm gifting 5. And Cindy J, it's only $24.95. I mean, when I say only, it's $24.95. So let's see. We've got... oh, God, Cheryl, you made it... Oh, you typed her name in and I thought she won it. God, what did you do there? Cheryl types in GSU right after I put it in there, and I thought she'd won, but you just... So we got Heather, Ryan Hawkins, Beach Baby Blonde, Ms. Arlene, and Debbie O'Brien. Oh, God. My God. And welcome to you guys, but we just keep trying. Now, let me just see what's going on here, though. Carlsbad Police Lieutenant Andrew Swanson said law enforcement will await autopsy results before proceeding with the case and declined to say if police believed a criminal crime had occurred. Must not have been something obvious. Swanson also declined to say if Kennedy appeared to have suffered any injuries, if anyone was present at the scene where she was found, or if any suspects or persons of interest were being sought. He did say family members were notified of Kennedy's death and were in contact with police. Kennedy was last seen in contact with her family, who live outside of Carlsbad, on February 19th. Swanson said Kennedy recently moved to Carlsbad from Texas, but it was unclear exactly how long she'd been in town. I mean, what took him so long to find her body at the apartment complex? That's kind of weird, isn't it? I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens there. That was one that we covered the other night. For those people, I want to talk about Kohberger Gray. Well, we do cover other cases here, just letting you know. There, that's that snarky right there. I guess that's what that was. Right there, Trey, right? Was that a good example or what? There you go. Yeah, everybody hit that like button, Trey said. All right. So, let's go back up to... right there. All right, so for those out there are somewhat new and haven't seen these before, I went out there with my 360-degree camera. I think it's always good to sort of review this stuff so you can see what it looked like back in the day. I was actually out there in September, then I went 3 months later in December. So this is the day before they tore that building down right there. This is probably one of the last known videos out there. So there you go. That is the house just before. And again, this up here is Madison Mogen's room. This right down here is Dylan Mortensen's room. That little window right back there is the window that goes into the kitchen. The sliding glass door is around that corner. And up above is Kaylee Goncalves' sliding glass door that goes into her room. This window right here is the window at the top of the steps. Alright, so then we go down here. And then this wall right here is the living room. And then I'll just move in front of the house. Right over here. This is Bethany Funk's room right there. This is the front door where the DoorDash driver would have pulled up outside of here. This right there is the storage room. Could easily be a bedroom, but they use it for storage. And then, that's kind of, and this is Xana Kernodle's room right there, right above the storage room. So had Bethany Funk lived in this room, she would have heard all kinds of stuff going on up there. But she lived below the living room, and that means she had that floor and a floor above her to get to Madison Mogen's room, and also not even above her because it was off to the side. So I guess that's always easier to look at on my 3D model. I don't have that open currently, but I can do that. So Bethany Funk was in a much different situation than Dylan Mortensen was. Way different. And then now we've walked down the street a little bit. This is the 1112 King Road house. And we'll just kind of move it a little bit further. And if we turn around, that is Xana Kernodle's room right there. And right there was the surveillance camera. And it was filming this direction. Then we're coming around, leaving the area, and walking up Willanta Drive. We just came this way and then like this. And now we're way up above on Willanta Drive up here. There's the house right through the trees. 1112 King Road is right there. What? And then we go further up here. The house is like right over there. And then we're walking back down. And like the next part that's kind of interesting, I mean, that's Sigma Chi right over there. That's where Ethan Chapin was a fraternity member. So he just lived right there. So, 1122 King Road's right up there. Sigma Chi's right there. So when Xana and Ethan were done, they just left and walked right over here, and pretty easy to get home. And now we're walking back up this way. And now we're coming back. This is 1112 King Road again. And there's 500 Queen Road, is that big brick building there. And this is what it looked like when Kohberger was driving back there. So I think this is a really valuable 360-degree camera shot because it shows you everything that you need to know regarding the crime scene location and how hilly it is. I mean, look at this. That's straightforward. Look how that is how sloped it is. So it's not like camera trickery. Notice how this is completely straight up and down. And that is a ridiculous angle. I mean, that is like, I don't know, what, 20, 30 degree hill there. It's crazy. And then when you're in there, you come around. This is where it turned around at 406 and then went back that same way. So probably if we went to about right here, that'd be a good way to look at it. Right, so when the car came in here, it turned around, and then it drove back out this way and went over here, and then tried to turn around or park back there. Okay, but then it continued on. When it came back again, it continued on, and now it's going, it drove right back here, and the camera that filmed those 3 different loops is right underneath here. I think there's a door right there, and it's right there. So it was filming out, and then the vehicle, the white Elantra, at 4:07 and 40 seconds or so, comes around like this, drives around the back here, and then parks right in front of the 1-1, like right, I would think right here. But look at that angle. So let's say he was parked right here. You can see right into Madison Mogen's room. And then no, they haven't, Nick. It has nothing. It's irrelevant, though. Yeah, it's irrelevant. I know you want them to find that, but they haven't found it. We've all known that. Yeah, I think you're just kind of trolling for an answer. So here's the front of the house. So let me show you the Bethany Funk lived right there. Right above her is the living room, but then Madison Mogen's way up here. So like you wouldn't hear very well all the way down there to up here. However, Dylan Mortensen, who's in this room, is going to hear everything right above her, which is Madison Mogen's room. And then had Bethany Funk been in the storage room instead of this one, it would have been right below Xana Kernodle's room, and she probably would have heard terrifying things. Okay, and as we know, there was blood coming out of the floor right here. This is dirt. You know, that's the retaining wall. So right here, there's dirt, and there was blood coming out right there from the wall. There's the sliding glass door that comes in from the patio right there. All right. So let's just take a look really quick again at the headshot here, coming through the front door. To the right's that storage room. That's right below Xana Kernodle's room. Bathroom, laundry room. And right here is Bethany Funk's room, just below the living room. Then you come back out, then you go up the stairs. Now we're right in the living room, just above Bethany Funk's room. Then you turn around and go this direction. This is Xana Kernodle's room. That's just above the storage room. That's the window that goes out to the parking lot there. And then you go this direction, and then right as you're heading this direction, you go down one step right here. Then there's a Dylan Mortensen bedroom, which is right below Madison Mogen's room. And then there's a kitchen just outside of Dylan Mortensen's room. And then you go up the stairs, and then when you get to the top of the stairs, you take a left to go to Kaylee Goncalves' room, which is right above the kitchen. Okay? And then after you leave her room, you go back this direction. That's a bathroom. So now there's a space between the wall. That means Dylan Mortensen's room is about double the size of Madison Mogen's room. So you go into Madison's room, and they were right in here. The knife sheath was found on the right side of Madison Mogen. Kaylee Goncalves was sitting up in the corner, hunched over like that. Then you go down the stairs right here, and then leaving, he came in from like this, though, when he was leaving, from the living room area. But he would have left, gone through the kitchen, and then out the sliding glass door. See that? Boom. Then we've got, I did see there was something else I was going to look at today. What was it? Yeah, I think it's this one right here. So this one was interesting to me, because it's like what I do, I think. So it says, comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County. I think this is also on the 21st. The Latah County prosecuting attorney and respectfully moves this court for a pretrial order regarding the admissibility of demonstrative exhibits. Specifically, that's what I do, you guys. Those are those things that I make. Specifically, the state will seek to introduce a three-dimensional model. There you go, everybody. They can. Here's what the deal is, you guys. When I do my shows, people see the value of having these things. Not that they wouldn't have done it anyways, but you might not have made an actual 3D model the way you're going to go through it. And so I make these 3D models, and I actually was in court for. I built an entire elevator incident for a Brooklyn district attorney, and they flew me over there, and they used this whole thing for their trial, and we won. The jury even said the videos what did it, based on, I made a whole model of the entire like foyer where the elevator picks up these people, and then she steps onto the elevator's still moving, and then her leg got guillotined in the door, dragged her up 8 floors. It was crazy. That was a criminal, and she got a civil suit. Anyways, it says right here, hey, cool, all right. Did we get back to normal, the views? Good. Because there was like, look how weird this is, you guys. See that right there? See, that's not normal. See how that's normal? Like if I just drew a line across like that. So all of a sudden there was this massive that. You see? Crazy. And then they just disappeared because they... Alright, so let me go through this. I think this is awesome. Specifically, the state will seek to introduce a 3-dimensional model of the 1122 King Road residence for demonstrative purposes to aid the witnesses in their testimony. The state further submits the following, and they could use FaroScan, which would be an exact duplicate, following the memorandum in support of its request. And if you're out there, you guys, if you can support the channel, that'd be great. We have to have a couple good nights coming into the end of the month to really try to make a difference for what we can do, because we've just, the beginning of the month was such a struggle that I've been trying to catch up the rest of the way. Hey, thanks, K-Me. Put that in there for the spin. All right, the trial courts are endowed with discretion over the use of, because you might be too prejudicial, over the use of demonstrative exhibits during trial. The Idaho Court of Appeals held an exhibit is properly admissible for demonstrative purposes when the exhibit supplements the testimony. Like, for example, the thing that I made? You can't have the bodies laying around. You could have them laying there if you didn't have them. They were just sort of like dummies, and they were in the factually correct information, and there was no color, there was no facial expressions, there was no like hair or anything like that, and you put it in there, and it was just sort of like a one shade thing. I think that would be okay. The Idaho Court of Appeals held an exhibit properly admissible for demonstrative purposes when the exhibit supplements the testimony of witnesses or assists the jury in obtaining a better understanding of the facts in issue. Masters versus Dewey. The Idaho Supreme Court held it is established that the use of exhibits by a testifying witness in order to supplement or illustrate events is proper insofar as the differences between the events depicted and the events observed are explained by the witnesses or by the witness, and the exhibit is not deceptive. Right. Hey, wow, thanks, Lanky Tor. How's it going? One of the original freaks. How many months you got on there, Lanky Tor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're like 63 or something, right? I think Lanky Tor has been a channel member for over 5 years. Like Zozo's been there for 5 years. And there's a few of you guys. I think like Paulette's been. You've been there about that. And Jessica Schubach, right? You guys are right up there, right? Yeah. Yeah, Lanky Tor's been around for... I mean, hell, she's been watching since my Jody Arias videos, where I didn't use my voice, and I didn't even know anything. I wish I was monetized back then. I could... I mean, I had one video had like 600,000 views or something. It was crazy. This is my experience jury tours. All right, standard of admissibility. We just went through that. The appropriate test is Idaho Rule of Evidence 403, balancing test of probative value against the danger of unfair prejudice. Right. Distraction, confusion of the issue, and see, you know how I just explained it to you guys? Who was confused about the model after I just went like this? I mean, literally just being, if you go all the way back to the beginning of this, let's see, right here, and you just sit here and you explain it to people. Let's say you had pictures from the outside and even from different angles. So you could be like right there, maybe a little bit back before that, maybe right here, and you would just explain storage unit, storage room, Bethany Funk, living room, Xana Kernodle, and then you go inside, going through that same front door, and then people sort of understand the layout at that point. And what the best thing to be able to do, if I could make I've been looking for how to do it, because we used to be really easy on 3D Studio Max. And by the way, my subscription to 3D Studio Max, how much do you think that is a year? Type it in really quick. See if you can do it. It's $1,690. So, you know, it's that's some of the reasons why I have to have things paid for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's see. We've got there was something that's totally irrelevant right now. You know the Karate Kid guy? Let's see. When he was doing the show. Hold on. How old do you think he was when he was doing the show? Like, I was watching him do karate in there. It looks like he's 14. I mean, he looks like a little tiny... I mean, look at this. This guy right here. How old does that guy look right there? When he was doing it in the original movies. See that? You know what's crazy? He was 22 years old when he was filming Karate Kid the first time. And if you go back and watch those clips, there is no chance in hell you would think that he was anywhere near that. My God, I just happened to be looking at it today, but that's why I'm saying it's completely unrelated. But he was born in 1961, and that movie came out in '84. Let's see. But we need to keep growing. Yeah, well, there was some kind of a time frame where I was losing subscribers. I think it's because of my stance on the Delphi case and this case. So on the Delphi case and this case, I do not have tolerance for people who sit there with no evidence whatsoever and just claim somebody's innocent. Like, oh, Kohberger's innocent, and there's nothing that indicates that he's innocent, nor is there anything that indicates Richard Allen's innocent. So those people don't like me because I just, if you're not going to give me a really good reason with some information that I can go, wow, that's actually interesting, then I just don't have time. I don't have time for you, and I don't respect your opinion when you have nothing to back it up. I hate when people say that. Oh, you got to respect my opinion, Gray, just because it's different than yours. Well, no, but your opinion's based on nothing. Okay, so I don't respect your opinion. Do you get it? Like, it's not one of those things where I'm not required to respect your opinion. I am required to respect your right to have one, but I do not have to respect the opinion itself. And if you don't give me absolute information that supports your opinion, then what's there to respect about it? What do you guys think about that? I don't know, Gray. Can't somebody just have an opinion and not have to worry? No, this is a true crime channel. We need to have factual information. So if you have something that can refute Bryan Kohberger, instead of looking for an out for Bryan Kohberger, like some small detail, here's what's sick about the Bryan Kohberger supporters. These people would love to get him off on a technicality, even knowing he's the murderer. See, they don't care. They just, oh, he's innocent. So we can, because they don't look around. They don't spend any time trying to literally know the factual information in the case. And then they always say, well, you just believe what the state says. Well, the thing is what the state put out originally has just been bolstered during all of these hearings. And even Ann Taylor, for God's sakes. Now, don't you guys think that when Ann Taylor just recently said, basically admitted that at 3:29, his vehicle was a quarter of a mile away, that's just like a death nail. I mean, it's like, my God, you guys. Case closed. Right there, a quarter of a mile away. And for those who don't know from above, it's right here. Like either driving, I think it was driving this direction like this. And there's where the murders happened. And right after the car drove by there, another white vehicle drove by this camera. And then a white Elantra pulls up in front through here. So it was another white Elantra at 3:30 in the morning in a tiny little area. And then you get the Kohberger wackos going, there's thousands of them, Gray. There's 50,000 of them. Okay, well, at 3:30 in the morning, and by the way, if there was 50,000 of them, then what you're saying is everybody in Pullman, Washington, and Moscow combined all had 2. And I don't think that's true. And they're probably talking about the entire Northwest, and they go, there's 50,000 of them, and they want you to think that they're all in, and I don't even know what the number was that they tried to say. That's right, Lanky Tor. Just been covering a couple other cases this week. You have to click on the little thing up there, the gifted 5, like right click on it or something, and say allow membership gifting. So, anybody have any questions? Glad you don't have beanie cap and dark glasses to hide behind. I don't know what that means. Is there some YouTubers that do that? We got the one clown. We got a clown and a UK guy that says that he does 3 videos a day on the case. Is inaccurate on all 3 of the videos every single day, and yet people love it. He gets like 10,000 views a video, and I get 2. and then you go, well, what does that tell you, Gray? Well, I tell you what I won't do is I will not I will not lose my integrity or sell my soul to put out false information just for views. Because I guarantee it, if I had no integrity at all and I was on the other side, oh my God, the videos I could make, just making up stuff. I'm better at it than they are with the graphics and everything. I'd be able to sell a bunch of crap that just wasn't true. So I don't do it, and you get punished. It's weird. Will someone from the FBI testify at the trial? Well, probably regarding the DNA. So there's a lot of people, I see it in these articles. They don't understand the DNA aspect again. So I'll just run through it again for the off chance that there's somebody here that doesn't really know it very well. Right. So what happens is at a crime scene, you might look for DNA in a place that is significant. For example, a knife sheath left on a bed, and they found a single source of DNA on the button snap, on the underside of the button snap of the knife sheath. And they took that and did rapid forensic genetic genealogy, first giving it to Othram Labs, who is kind of one of the standard shops, but probably the bigger one out there. They like to gobble up everybody else's work. So they're out there, and they weren't quick enough because they were not going to sacrifice, sort of their ability to use these sites in the future. And so they didn't use the backdoor method. So then the FBI took over. Law enforcement, the investigators gave it to the FBI to do, and they went in and took the DNA and were able to, by using, I think it was on MyHeritage and GEDmatch, using a backdoor method, and then also against terms of service on MyHeritage. It's just terms of service. It's not illegal or anything, just against the terms of service. We're able to identify a suspect of a tip. So they came up with a name, and they gave the name to law enforcement, and they said, just treat this as a tip. You guys need to investigate to see if this makes sense. So they got it. They were given a tip. And then law enforcement, after they got the tip, started looking into Bryan Kohberger and building up all of the information. Oh, look at this. We got the other 2 stops that he had. He does drive a white Elantra. He is a professor over at the, in Pullman, etc., etc., etc. And so they're building all that. Then they also followed him when he drove home. And when he got home, they were able to secure the trash from his property that he was staying at. And they were only able to find the, apparently, I don't know if they found his DNA, but he was separating his own DNA from the garbage can. But they were able to find a DNA sample in freely discarded trash that was collected by the trash collector, and then law enforcement got the trash and were able to identify that the DNA that they found in the trash was the biological father to like 99.99998 to 1 of being the biological father of the donor to the unknown DNA sample on the knife sheath. And because of that, and they already knew Bryan Kohberger is the son of the person, in that house, they were able to get a warrant and arrest Bryan Kohberger. Then they swabbed his mouth and got, his DNA, and then compared it. They used CODIS, so they originally put the sample into CODIS. They didn't find a match, and that's when then they deployed the forensic genetic genealogy and or Forensic Investigative Genetic Genealogy, or IgG, or FGG. They deployed that technology, and that's how they came up with Kohberger, and then they swabbed him eventually at the end, and then they put that DNA into CODIS, and that's how you get the percentage matches, because there's 20 markers, and each marker and combination that you could have on a marker has a certain percentage. Like 1 in 50 have ABD on that marker, 1 in 10 have BBB, and 1 in 17 have CCC on that marker, whatever it is, right? So they have all these things calculated out, and so that's how you do the math. You multiply the bottom number times the next one, so there's 20 of them. You go ding, 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 and by the time it's over, that's why you get 1 in, 6 point something octillion to 1, that kind of thing. And that's how they came up with the Bryan Kohberger's DNA was a 100%, but they can't use the number 100. They have to use statistics. And mathematically, it's a 100% match. I mean, basically, right? I mean, 1 in 6.6 octillion, 6.6 octillion to 1 is basically a 100% match. Don't you agree? I mean, you have to have a number, but there isn't going to be. You'd have to have, like, I don't even know what the number is, septillions of planet Earths with the same exact DNA structure to find one person. And that's like that's a number that's not even perceivable by people. And there it is. Then his DNA matched, and that means he is the contributor to the DNA on that knife sheath. And then you say, well, he didn't put it there, somebody else did. Right, so somebody else was driving around a white Elantra missing its front license plate in the exact same neighborhood at exactly the same time that Kohberger was driving around, and then stopped their car at 408 at 420, and somehow Kohberger, they drove by each other and they go, hey Jim, and they high-fived each other. Then his DNA got put on the knife sheath, and then the real killer that was driving another Elantra parked his car at 408 to 420, got out of his car, went into the house and killed everybody, left the knife sheath there intentionally because now he's trying to pin it on Kohberger. I mean, I don't know how these people think of how they make something work, but it gets to the point where it's, you know, literally absurd. Ah, there you go. But Gray. I guess we have more on here. A diagram offered for demonstrative purposes need only be relevant to illustrate a witness testimony. It does not need to be precisely accurate. Yeah, I remember that in the Jody Arias case. Their little drawing they had was of the bathroom layout was way off, and it caused me a lot of problems because I modeled the entire bathroom. So I ended up having to use photographs, and assuming these, I think they were 18-inch tiles on the ground, I was able to calculate the distance using maybe like a 1/4-inch grout line, and it was much more accurate than their stupid drawing they had. More recently, the Idaho Supreme Court has agreed in State versus Roman Lopez, finding the use of demonstrative exhibits at trial appropriate to aid the understanding of testimony that may otherwise be difficult to comprehend through words or gestures alone. It says along, but I think the word alone was meant to be in there. All right, you guys, we're just absolutely died down in here, so if you have the ability to help support the channel tonight so we can have one of those good ones coming into the end of the month, that would be awesome. I don't know what you're talking about, Trey. Oh, yeah, the sarcastic explanation. Sure. You're confusing. More recently, the Idaho Supreme Court has agreed, State versus Roman Lopez, finding the use of demonstrative exhibits at trial appropriate to aid the understanding of testimony that may otherwise be difficult to comprehend through words. And then it has like a citing. It says, McCormick explains that demonstrative or illustrative aids may be created outside of court or by the witness on the stand and are generally admissible, subject to unfair prejudice objection under the theory that they illustrate and explain live testimony of what that witness is trying to describe. McCormick, in other words, when the drawing is admitted for demonstrative or illustrative purposes, the witness testimony is the evidence, and the map or diagram is merely an aid to its understanding. Right. In this case, the state anticipates introducing a three-dimensional model of the 1122 King Road residence. See Exhibit S1 attached. Ah, man, where is that? At trial. This model will consist of 3 levels, which can be removed by level to show the interior layout of the residence. The interior layout will depict wall and door placements. See, I already have all this for you guys. I.e., no furniture, human depictions, etc. See, there you go. They're not going to put any of that stuff in there. The model will be placed on a rolling table. So this is like an actual physical 3D model for portability within the courtroom. It can be placed out of. I don't think that's a good way to do that. That's stupid. You have to, unless you have a camera filming into it while you're pointing at things. The model will be placed on a rolling table for portability within the courtroom, i.e. can be placed out of the way when not in use. The model is being constructed by the FBI based on depictions, documentation, and measurements taken on the scene. See, I wish I could get the measurements. I mean, I think I'm right on the money though, because there was diagrams, architectural information that was put out there. The primary purpose of this model is to aid the jury in having a better understanding of the layout of the residence, which is unconventional, and to illustrate where certain events occurred within the residence. The model will aid certain witnesses, but I mean, how is the jury going to be able to look down inside of it? The model will aid certain witnesses, i.e. law enforcement, surviving roommates, individuals responding to the crime scene, and crime scene analysts, in demonstrating the location of victims, location of witnesses, location of items of evidence, items related to their testimony, path of travel, etc. The state anticipates laying the proper foundation to establish the model accurately reflects the layout of the 1122 King Road residence. The model passes the IRE 403 balancing test as the value in, yeah, see, they're not putting any people in it or anything. Let's see. So it's just facilitating the jury in visualizing, understanding where facts in issue occurred at the crime scene far outweighs any danger of unfair prejudice, distraction, confusion of the issues, or waste of time. This model will merely aid witnesses' testimony and is not being introduced to establish a certain fact in issue. Therefore, it is not hearsay. Well, I mean, I guess you could allow the defense to use the same model then, right? The state requests the court issue an order allowing the state to use a three-dimensional model of the 1122 King Road residence, finding that the model is relevant in order to aid witnesses in their testimony, provided that the state lays adequate foundation for the demonstrative exhibit. Well, that's pretty cool. Anyways. All right, you guys, I think that's going to do it for tonight. You guys have anything else? Any comments? Or I've just been spinning my wheels. Let's see. Better eyes on him to see if he had injury. I don't know what that means. All right. So thank you to Kaylee, Cinnamonson Freak. What is it? 2323. Truth Seeker, Michelle H. Mama 457 Rose, Monroe, Joseph Brennan, Moofies, Amy Andalora, Truth Seeker, Michelle Perkins, Janine Garcia, Eve Loves God, Well My Mrs. Ryan with the cat eye, then Cheryl Moran, gifted 10, Timothy Cecil, Moofies, Mama 457 Rose, Moofies again, and Cheryl Moran, and Sirius Black, then Mrs. Ryan, then Sandy Shirley, and then GSU PM with the cat eye, then Moofies, then I gifted 5, then K-Me, then Lanky Tor gifted 5, and then Naomi. Alright, then we also had, earlier we had Four Paws and Thomas for the coffees, and that's it. So you guys, hardly any coffees. What the hell did I do wrong tonight, you guys? I thought that was a good one. Alright, anyways, thanks everybody, and let me do the spin for the notebook. Hopefully I got everybody in there. Might have missed somebody. Don't know. Alright, there we go. I meant to I'll just play it. There's no different odds. Look at that. Cheryl Moran wins. Not surprising, not surprising. Took up a lot of them on there. So there you go, Cheryl. Send me your address and an email, and we'll add it to the list and ship it off. Anyways, I hope you guys, liked the show. If you missed the earlier part, I did the whole drive. I showed the video driving from, in the early morning hours, taking this route, the green route, kind of sped it up a little bit, 30 seconds at a time. And it comes out right over here exactly when it's supposed to come out. So there you go. All right, everybody, thank you all for being here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gragel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.